Hello students, today we are going to start with a new chapter, chapter 17, if conditional clauses, page number 142, please take it out. Now we are going to see the use of if in conditional clause. Okay. Now before we begin with that, if with the conditional clause, let's see what is clause. Okay. Now a verb, subject, object, these are the common words that we come across every now and then. But clause is something which we are unaware and still not confident about it. So clause is something which has presence of subject and a verb. Okay. So specifically a verb, that means one single action. Okay. So when a sentence has a subject means the doer of the action, and one action present in the sentence, that means it can be called as clause. Okay. Now clause are group of words that have a subject and a verb and can convey an incomplete or complete thought or idea. Okay, so it can convey to people, okay, whoever is listening, a complete or incomplete even thought or idea to the person who is listening. That is what clause is. It's a group of words that have a subject and a verb and can convey a thought or idea which can be either complete or incomplete. Okay. For example, which is in your book, who came here later? Since you say so, she is tall. These are three clauses that we have here. Who came here later? Since you say so, she is tall. So these are your example of clauses. Now clauses may be principal clauses or dependent clauses. Now clauses also have two categories, that is principal clauses or dependent clauses. Okay. Now when you hear about principal clauses, the word principal means head or main clause. Is another name given to principal clause. Okay. Now principal clause, what happens here is basically it is independent. Okay. Does not need other support of words to frame a complete sentence. Okay. It itself is a complete sentence. Principal clause, or also known as main clause, okay, contains the main verb of the sentence and shows the time of action of the sentence. Okay. These clauses can stand on its own, just what I said, independent, and does not require anything else to make complete sense. Okay. Example, men may come. Now here these three words, men may come, itself is a complete sense-giving sentence. Okay. They are tall. He is walking. So are you understanding what the sentence is trying to deliver us? So itself it is a complete sense. Does not need any requirement of other words to make it a complete sentence. Okay. That's what is principal clause or your main clause. Now let's go to dependent clause. Now dependent clause means another name given to it is subordinate clause. Okay. Dependent means you need or you are dependent to other words or clause of words to make it a complete sentence or sense-giving sentence. Okay. And it is the another name for it is subordinate, that means below or low. So dependent clause or subordinate clause contains a subject and a verb but cannot make complete sense by itself. Okay. Nor can it show the time of action or tense of the sentence. Okay. Like example, we all know that God helps those who help themselves. Okay. Now we all know is your principal clause. Okay. In the sentence, which is complete meaning, give tense of the sentence. That God helps those is your dependent clause. Okay. Which is incomplete. The meaning is incomplete. Okay. Who help themselves is again dependent clause. It is incomplete meaning. Okay. Now every sentence has at least one main clause. Subordinate or dependent clauses may or may not exist in a sentence. Okay. Now let's see page number 143. Let's learn. There are three types of conditions. Okay. Now type 1 or open condition, a condition that may or may not be fulfilled. This is structured as if this happens. That is what your type 1 is, that is open condition. Okay, that may or may not be fulfilled. So when may or may not be fulfilled, when you are unsure, we use if this happened, if we are going to use that particular time. If this happened, that will happen. Okay. Example, if it rains, the match will not be played. If I have time, I shall visit the zoo. If I don't hurry, I will miss the train. So it may or may not rain. It may or may not be played. Okay. It may or may not be raining. So that is what the sentence is trying to say us. Okay. Now another type 2 or unlikely condition. Okay. A condition that is possible but unlikely to be fulfilled. It can be possible if there is put into a little more effort, but it is not able to be fulfilled. Okay. Due to certain reason. Now this is structured as if this thing happened, that thing would happen, but I am not sure if it ever will. Okay, now let's see the sentence. If I found her address, I would send her an invitation. Okay, she would come if she had time. If I were you, I would study now. That is a type 2, unlikely condition. Type 3 or unreal imaginary condition. Okay, refers to unreal past condition and its probable past result or an imaginary condition that cannot be true. Okay, it is totally, a type 3 is unreal. Okay, it is totally imaginary. You are imagining things. Okay. So example would be, if you had studied harder, you would have passed the exam. So that is imaginary thing, because at the end the result, the meaning of the sentence is he has failed. Okay, but here the sentence is trying to say is, if you had studied harder, you would have passed the exam. But is it going to happen now? No, it's not going to happen because it's already done. So it refers to an unreal past condition and its probable past result or an imaginary condition. That is what your type 3 is. Okay. If I had known about the meeting, I would have informed you. Okay. If she had attended the class, she would have taken notes. That is a type 3. Now conditions, inversions of subject and finite verb. Were she to see you? If she were to see you, she would be surprised. Were I alone, I should be afraid to go. Were she living in our neighborhood, I should see her more often. Conditions implying fortuitous circumstances. If you should, that means happen to, meet him, tell him all about it. Should you, that means happen to, meet him tomorrow, would you mind telling him all about it? So there are many examples you can see. So that's all for this chapter. Okay. Rest you have a lot of examples. Just keep these 3 things in your mind, 3 types of conditions in your mind. Type 1 open condition, type 2 unlikely condition, and type 3 is your unreal or imaginary condition. Then again we have seen what is clause, okay, presence of subject and a verb. Okay, again clause are also 2 types, that is principal clause and dependent clause. Principal clause is also known as main clause, dependent clause is also known as subordinate clause. Now main clause should have in the sentence main verb. It is totally independent, does not need the support of any other word to make it a complete sense. Whereas dependent clause is just the opposite, just the name it is. It needs to be dependent to other words to make it a complete sense or sentence of its own. Okay, so that is what the chapter is all about.